Have you ever looked in the mirror and suddenly exclaimed, "Oh my, why do I look so tired today?" I've been there. Not because I didn't sleep enough, and not because I was sad, but simply because of my hairstyle. Sounds trivial, doesn't it? But trust me, you'll be surprised to know that certain hairstyles, seemingly harmless, can quietly age your face by a whole decade. And even worse, we often choose these styles thinking they're safe or age appropriate. I want you to recall the last time someone complimented you with, "You look younger." If it's been a while since you've heard that, your hairstyle might be the silent culprit. Today, I want to share with you 3 hairstyles that are quietly stealing away your radiance and confidence without you even realizing it. But don't worry, I'll also show you how to fix it right away. Are you ready for a small change that can make a big difference? Let's begin. Remember the opening I just shared. That moment when you look into the mirror and see fatigue even though you still feel vibrant inside. This is the moment we must face the truth. Your hairstyle isn't just a part of your appearance, it's the frame that defines your entire look. When others see you, especially for the first time, they haven't heard your voice, don't know how intelligent you are, and haven't felt the energy you radiate, they only see you and your hair. Hair is the frame of the face. A beautiful painting needs the right frame to elevate its value. If the frame is outdated, mismatched, or rough, no matter how stunning the painting is, it loses its impact. The same goes for your face. A fitting hairstyle doesn't force youth upon you, it enhances your radiance, liveliness, and showcases your age in the most graceful way. Many women over 60 often think, "I'm older now, so my hairstyle doesn't matter anymore." But that's exactly what causes us to unintentionally disappear in the eyes of others. When we were younger, people noticed us for our freshness and style. But as we move past our youthful years, our hairstyle becomes a reflection of how we care for ourselves, of a woman who knows where she is in life and chooses to express it beautifully. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine 2 women, both 65 years old. One wears long, straight black hair with no styling. The other wears a chin-length bob with a soft volume and warm brown tone with a few subtle highlights. Both dress well, both are friendly. But guess who gets remembered? Who gets the compliment? "You look so radiant." Just minutes into a conversation? It's the second woman. Not because she's pretending to be young, but because she knows how to communicate visually. And your hair is the first message in that communication. According to research by psychologists at Yale University, the human brain takes less than 7 seconds to form a first impression, and hair plays a major role in assessing a person's age, personality, and energy. That means before you even speak a word, others have already formed an opinion based on your hair. So why should we women who've experienced so much in life let others misinterpret us simply because of an outdated hairstyle? One interesting thing I've discovered after working with hundreds of women over 60, when they change their hairstyle, they not only look younger, they walk with more confidence, speak more expressively, and most importantly, they smile more. Simply because they feel seen as they truly are, not as an outdated version they've clung to out of habit. If you feel like you're becoming invisible in your own life, you don't need to do anything drastic. Just start by taking a good look at your hair. Is it honoring you, or is it making you fade into the background? You don't need to follow trends, and you certainly don't need to rejuvenate in ways that don't suit your age. You only need a hairstyle that allows you to be seen clearly, confidently, and with grace. In the next section, I'll share 3 specific hairstyles that many women still wear and how they might be making your face look tired, stiff, or even disappear. And I'll show you how to change that simply, but with noticeable impact. Remember what I said at the beginning. You don't need to become younger, you only need to be seen, in all the radiance you already possess. If in the previous section we talked about how your hairstyle is the frame for your face, then now I want you to imagine this. A stunning painting placed inside an old, oversized, mismatched, cracked frame. What happens? The painting loses its visual appeal. That's exactly what overly long and unshaped hair is quietly doing to your appearance. Let's be honest for a moment. Are you holding onto your long hair because you're used to it? Or because you're afraid of change? Or worse, because long hair hides the signs of aging on my face? But let me speak from the heart. It's that long, straight, unstyled hair that's making you look more tired, sadder, and older. Long hair, if not shaped or given movement, draws the viewer's gaze downward. It elongates the appearance of your face, especially if your cheeks have started to sag slightly or your jawline isn't as firm as it once was. Instead of hiding signs of aging, long hair often highlights exactly what you're trying to conceal. Not to mention, long hair tends to look lifeless if it's not carefully maintained. And let's be honest. How many women over 60 have the time, energy, or desire to blow dry and style long hair every day to keep it sleek and perfect? The result is that long hair doesn't just make you look older, it feels like you're carrying a heavy curtain on your shoulders, both physically and emotionally. I once met a client named Ms. Jenny, 64 years old, with hair that reached halfway down her back. She either tied it low or left it loose. When I suggested cutting it to shoulder length and layering it softly, she hesitated. I've never had short hair in my life. But after the transformation, she looked in the mirror, laughed out loud, and said, "Oh my, why didn't I do this sooner?" She didn't just look 10 years younger, more importantly, she looked exactly like the vibrant, joyful woman she felt like on the inside, full of life, loving, and unafraid to step into a new chapter of her life. The wonderful thing is you don't need to go super short or edgy. Just choose a moderate length like shoulder grazing with soft layers or gentle inward curls toward the face. This structure lifts your features, adds shape, and softens lines that time has etched. If your hair is fine, a layered cut helps add natural volume. If your hair is thick, layering reduces the heaviness and makes it more breathable, no more feeling like a blanket is weighing down your back. And most importantly, a hairstyle with shape and movement speaks for you. It says that you still care about yourself, that you haven't given up on your style just because you've passed 60. It sends a message. I am still me, radiant, lively, and strong. So, if you're currently wearing long, straight hair without defined shaping, I invite you to take a look at yourself today. Is that hair lifting you up or weighing you down? Is it helping you be seen, or is it making you fade into the background? Remember, cutting your hair isn't losing something, it's liberation. Liberation from old habits, outdated patterns, and anything that makes you feel dull or invisible. Your hair doesn't need to look 30 again, but it absolutely should help you be the clearest, brightest version of yourself from age 60 onward. And sometimes, that starts with the courage to tell your stylist, I'm ready to change. In the previous section, we saw how overly long and shapeless hairstyles can unintentionally make your face look tired and lifeless. But even if you've already had a neat cut with gentle shaping, there's still one more factor that can ruin your entire look, and that is a hair color that's too dark or too uniform. It sounds safe, doesn't it? Jet black, dark brown, or solid hues that give off a mature and respectable vibe. But this kind of safety is silently making your face look heavier, more rigid, and older than it really is. Let me explain. When you're young, with smooth skin and bright eyes, deep hair colors create strong contrast which enhances sharp features. But as age begins to leave its traces on the skin, brightness fades, features soften, and things start to sag a little. Very dark hair only highlights the things you'd prefer to downplay. In other words, dark colors don't make you stand out, they make you appear more severe, more rigid, and at times, even sorrowful. I once had a client named Ms. Lair, 62 years old. Her thick black hair was dyed every 2 months like clockwork, no highlights, no variation in tone. She said, "Black hair shows I'm serious, not childish." But the truth was, that black color drowned out her whole face. When I suggested switching to a soft chocolate brown with some subtle caramel highlights, a small miracle occurred. Her face lit up. Her smile became brighter without even needing lipstick. And most importantly, her eyes drew attention again because her hair no longer acted as a barrier between her and the people looking at her. We need to understand. Color is not just a matter of taste, it's a tool of communication. And with hair, color is the spotlight for your face. When you choose a tone that's too dark and too solid, you're unintentionally turning off that light. Moreover, hair that's too uniform, whether light or dark, loses visual depth and movement. This is especially important for women with short or medium-length hairstyles. Without color dimension, your overall look becomes flat and forgettable. Instead, consider warm tones with depth, like chestnut brown, honey brown, caramel, or gentle balayage highlights. These tones don't just brighten the face, they soften fine lines, flatter your skin tone, and create a youthful effect without trying too hard or losing elegance. If you have neutral or yellow-toned skin, try warm browns or subtle copper highlights. If you have pink or pale undertones, cool browns, soft smoky ash, or even lavender gray hues can work beautifully. And don't forget, you don't need to dye your whole head. Sometimes just a few brightened strands near the ends or around the face are enough to create magic. This is the smart way to trick the eye, making the skin look brighter, the eyes livelier, and the whole face subtly lifted. I know many women stick to their old habits out of fear that coloring will damage their hair. But with modern products today, ammonia-free dyes, herbal infusions, and collagen-enhanced formulas, coloring has become gentle, safe, and even more nourishing than some daily shampoos. Finally, I want you to remember this. Hair color doesn't just express style, it expresses your energy, and that energy deserves to be visible, not hidden behind a hair color that's too dark, too heavy, or too safe. In the next section, I'll talk about the third hairstyle, one that many women believe makes them look polished and formal, but in reality, might be making you look stiff and outdated. Can you guess what it is? After we talked about overly dark, uniform hair color, the kind that quietly robs your face of softness and natural light, it's time we address another legacy of the past, the classic stiff, voluminous hairstyle, also known as helmet hair. You can easily picture this look. Hair blown out high with volume, set firmly in place using hairspray or mousse, often shaped like a dome hugging the head like a helmet. Back in the day, it was a symbol of elegance, sophistication, and high fashion. But today, this style no longer reflects modernity. Instead, it unintentionally signals outdatedness, rigidity, and most importantly, it strips away the vibrant energy that a woman over 60 deserves to express. You see, at this stage of life, what makes you truly captivating isn't extravagance or overly sharp features. It's naturalness, fluidity, and depth. A hairstyle that's frozen like a hat sitting atop your head doesn't just make you look older, it freezes the energy you project to others as well. I once consulted a client named Ms. Harn, 66 years old. She always styled her hair in a puffed-up, crown blowout, a habit from her days working in the banking sector. She was very proud that her hair was always neat and polished. But after I suggested she try a soft bob with light layers and inward curls framing her face, just a few minutes later, she looked into the mirror and said, "Oh my goodness, I look so gentle and approachable." And that's the key point. Stiff, voluminous hair doesn't just age you, it creates emotional distance. It doesn't invite the gaze. It doesn't connect through the eyes. Instead, it acts like a perfectly round wall, blocking the softness and warmth that aging gracefully should reveal. Think about it. At this age, you've lived long enough to know that you no longer need to prove anything. So why let your hair reflect the opposite, as if you're trying to control everything through a serious and rigid appearance? It's time we let go of that invisible helmet. Instead of puffing it up and locking it with heavy sprays, choose styles with movement hair that sways naturally with each step. A chin-length lob with soft curled ends, a modern pixie with natural side-swept bangs, or an asymmetrical wavy bob, all offer a sense of warmth and freshness, while still carrying dignity and poise. And you don't need to abandon your polished look, simply shift from rigidly polished to gracefully refined. A hairstyle with gentle flow, styled with light mousse or nourishing balm instead of harsh sprays, brings life back to your face, especially to your eyes and your smile. When you combine soft hair with a lighter color, as we discussed earlier, something magical happens. Your entire face is liberated. You're no longer a woman trying to appear proper, but a woman who's fully herself, relaxed, confident, and present with magnetic allure. I understand that changing a hairstyle you've had for decades isn't easy. But ask yourself honestly, does your current hairstyle reflect the woman you are today? Or is it a memorial to an old version of you, a woman of the past whom you've already outgrown? Women at this stage of life don't need to look younger. What we need is something far more important, to be seen for the profound, free, and resilient beauty we've gathered over a lifetime. And sometimes, it all starts with saying goodbye to that helmet of hair. After you've had the courage to let go of that stiff, outdated hairstyle, the invisible helmet we spoke about in the previous section, a bigger question will naturally arise. So what kind of hairstyle should I choose? This is the moment where you're not just changing your hair, but also transforming the way you see yourself. No longer confined to outdated molds, but confidently choosing what truly suits your face, your poise, and your present energy. The secret to a beautiful hairstyle for women in their 50s, 60s, and 70s doesn't lie in trying to look young at all costs. It lies in clarifying your personality, softening the features you wish to blur, and highlighting the ones you wish to keep. To achieve that, you need to understand three key elements: face shape, hair texture, and personal energy. Face shape, the silent map of beauty. Not every haircut suits every face shape. And this isn't about fussy beauty standards. It's the science of visual harmony. Here are a few suggestions. Round face. Avoid chin, hugging cuts, or symmetrical bobs, as they can make your face appear even rounder. Instead, go for styles that fall just below the chin, with soft layers or side-swept bangs to elongate the face. Square face. Soften strong angles with curled layers around the jawline or a gentle side part to create a more feminine, less rigid appearance. Oval face. Lucky you, most styles suit you. But focus on haircuts that draw attention to the eyes and cheekbones, the areas where inner radiance is most visible in midlife. Long face. Avoid long, flat styles or ones that are too slicked back. Try a softly curled bob or light, wispy bangs to balance the face length. The great thing is, you don't have to identify your face shape like a professional. Just stand in front of the mirror, tie your hair back, observe the outline of your face, and take note of your most prominent features. You'll quickly sense whether your current hairstyle enhances or suppresses them. Hair texture. Work with it, don't fight it. A common mistake among older women is trying to force fine hair to look thick, or taming thick hair into lifeless straightness. But hair after 50 is the natural fabric of time, and instead of resisting it, we need to learn how to collaborate with it. If your hair is thin, choose cuts with multiple layers at the crown to create natural volume. Or go for loose waves that add texture without the need for heavy sprays. If your hair is thick, opt for long layers or asymmetrical bobs that provide movement and keep your face from being weighed down by bulk. If your hair is gray or salt and pepper, don't rush to dye it black. Try styles that brighten the forehead and cheeks, like a neat pixie cut or softly curled bob paired with natural silver. This creates a timeless, distinctive beauty. Personal energy. Let your hair reflect your lifestyle, not your birth year. This is the part most women forget. The best hairstyle isn't the youngest looking one, it's the one that expresses your true energy. Are you active, often outdoors, involved in community work or gardening. Choose practical, easy to maintain styles like a modern pixie or angled bob. Do you prefer elegance and refinement? Go for shoulder length waves, softly swept to the side, for graceful, mature charm. Are you artistic or a little unconventional? A chic, silver-toned crop with ash or lavender hues might make you stand out in a subtle, sophisticated way. Remember, your age does not determine your hairstyle. You do. And once you've dared to say goodbye to that rigid old style, it's time to choose a haircut that has meaning with soul and with you in it. In the next section, I'll share with you a real story about a woman who rediscovered herself just by changing her hairstyle. And I believe you'll see a part of yourself in her story too. After you've learned how to determine the right hairstyle for your face shape, hair texture, and personal energy, you might be feeling inspired, but still a little hesitant. Will changing my hairstyle really make that much of a difference? Or is it just a nice theory? To answer that, I want to tell you a true story. A story about a woman just like you, who once believed she was past the age for beauty, who was hesitant to change, and then, with one brave step outside her comfort zone, changed her entire life, starting with her hair. Her name is Thu, 63 years old, a retired school teacher living in Dalat. The first time I met her was at a workshop on beauty care for midlife women. She wore a gray sweater, simple slacks, and had long, nearly waist-length hair, neatly tied back with a fabric band. Her hair was dark, unclear whether naturally black or dyed, with no highlights, no shaping. Her face was kind, her eyes slightly dull, as if she had grown used to not being truly seen anymore. She softly said to me after the session, "Dear, I know I need to change, but I really don't know where to start. For decades I've looked like this, long dark hair. No one really criticizes it, but no one compliments it either." I didn't rush to recommend a hairstyle. Instead, I asked her, "What do you love most about yourself?" She hesitated, then quietly replied, "Maybe my eyes. People used to say I had expressive eyes. But now all they see is my messy hair and dull skin." That answer gave me the clearest clue. I invited her to a small salon I trusted the next day. We started by cutting her hair to just below the chin, layering it gently to frame her face. We gave her soft, side-swept bangs to draw attention back to her eyes. We colored her hair a warm chestnut brown, with subtle caramel tones brightening the bangs, and ends just enough to catch the light and bring life to her slightly dull complexion. When I held up the mirror for her to see, she was silent for a long moment. And then, her tears fell. She said, "It's been so long since I've seen myself look alive like this." It wasn't just a haircut. It was a homecoming. A return to herself. To a woman who once had sparkling eyes, who once knew how to love herself but had gradually forgotten, swept away by routines, age, and too much safety. A few weeks later, she messaged me, "Sweetheart, I went to my nephew's wedding yesterday, and people said I looked so much younger and full of life. But the best part was, I finally felt seen. Not like a faded shadow anymore." You see, a hairstyle doesn't just change how you look, it can awaken long-sleeping emotions. It helps others see you, but more importantly, it helps you see yourself. And no, you don't need to chop it all off like a teenager, or dye it in flashy colors like a model. You just need a hairstyle that suits your face, fits your essence, and is honest to your spirit today. Thu's story is living proof. And if she could do that after more than 30 years without a change, then so can you. Remember, it's never too late to refresh yourself. Because beauty doesn't fade with age, it simply waits for you to give it permission to shine again. After hearing Thu's story, you might be asking yourself, could I do the same? The answer is absolutely. You don't need to do anything drastic. You don't need a complete makeover. Sometimes, just one small change, a new haircut, a lighter color, a well-placed lock of hair is enough to make you feel refreshed, present, and radiant in your own way. I'm not here to tell you how short to cut your hair, what color to dye it, or what trend to follow. I just want to say one heartfelt thing. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to reconnect with yourself. And your hair is just the beginning. So if today, you feel even the slightest twinge of curiosity, of longing for change, I invite you to try. You don't need to cut it all off. Right away, just place your hand on your hair and gently ask yourself, does this hairstyle still represent who I am today? If the answer is, I'm not sure anymore, then that, my dear, is the most beautiful sign that it's time to begin. What hairstyle are you currently wearing? Have you changed your hair recently? What part of your appearance makes you feel most confident? Share in the comments below. I read every message and truly look forward to hearing your story. And if this video has inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with a woman you love. Because aging doesn't mark the end of beauty, it marks the beginning of a freer kind of beauty.